All right, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to pause a little bit at the top here because I know that it takes a second for the go live. There's a little bit of latency before folks can actually see and hear me. And hopefully you can. All right, so let's see. So I see Lily, so hopefully that, nice. Well, hello Kent, hello Sabon, hello Chris, Jennifer, Ruth, Cashew. I think I saw Fred in there too. Okay, sounds great. Leonardo, welcome. Sandra, hello. So first off, I'm not Jeff. That is, at times I imagine I'm channeling Jeff, but I'm not Jeff. And welcome to the Do Nothing Project on June 19th. I'm filling in for Jeff. Jeff is under the weather, but is doing well. He's just trying to get in an extra amount of rest. And as folks know, this butts up against kind of early evening for East Coast time. And it's about 5 o'clock, or something like that, 5:02 or something, wherever I am here in Arizona, where time is but a myth. So if you haven't come before or you need a refresher, this is where not a whole lot happens. In our, overall, our goal is to not have a whole lot happen. And as I said that, I lost chat, so hopefully things are still going on. That's a little disturbing. There we go. Okay, cool. I just had a moment where things shifted. So I'm not used to working on the iPad. If you're wondering why, we've got a different angle, but I'm broadcasting live from a tablet device, and we'll be doing a 25-minute practice together, and we'll reserve about 5 minutes at the end for hello to Angie as well. I just saw. We'll be reserving about 5 minutes at the end to do kind of a loving kindness or friendliness cultivation practice. As a reminder at the top, if you have your own practice and you're here for community, that's totally great. You can take everything I offer as sort of an invitation for you to try out, and you can always do your own practice. So again, I'm not Jeff. Who am I? I'm Andrew, and I am usually on that side of the screen or that side of the screen or from there, and I'm in the blue font, and I'm one of the moderators, one of the behind-the-scenes folks. I am a certified coach in the Unified Mindfulness System. That's Shinzen Young's system. And I am a software developer, software engineer. And then I also want to make sure I offer up a big, healthy, happy Father's Day to everyone. Father's Day here. I think it's probably Father's Day everywhere. I don't know if anywhere celebrates Father's Day early or on other weekends, but at least in North America, it is Father's Day on this June 19th. So in honor of my dad, I'm going to use a little bit of a saying that he used to say when I was a kid that is actually one that you hear sort of common now, but whenever my dad would have his eyes closed and I swore he was sleeping, and he told me he was never sleeping, he was just resting his eyes. And years later, I found out that he might have been resting his eyes, probably sleeping, but might have been resting his eyes. My dad was a TM practitioner, and so it's reasonably likely that he was meditating and sort of catching in a little bit of time. So we'll play around with today for kind of the theme in very little of nothing, or just a little bit above nothing, so very little part of nothing. I'll be doing a little notion of resting our eyes as a sort of a notion there. Rest is one of the dimensions that in the Unified Mindfulness quadrants we look at, and so we'll play around with that. So, all right, so I think everything's good, and thank you again to, I always remember Jeff Groves. I think it's Jeff Groves. Hello there to Allie and Gord. Jeff was the one who was kind enough to remind me that if I turn my phone on airplane mode, it doesn't mess with the microphone. So always a hat tip. All right. Oh, thank you so much, Andrea. And then if you are brand new, I'm not sure Jeff will be back next week for sure, but Jeff will normally be your regularly scheduled guide. All right. So I have my sort of fancy bell. I've got 25 minutes up on the clock. And again, as a reminder, if you have your own practice, you can treat everything I offer you from prompts as just a mere invitation for you to try out. So, all right, here we go. All right, and as lots of you know from sitting with me, I like to do sort of three-part sequence at the top of my sits. And that is that I like to check in with my posture. I want to look and see if I have any tension in the body. And then I want to do some calming breaths. So again, we're looking to be upright or lying down. Totally fine to be lying down. And as we're upright, we don't want to be straining or sort of putting so much effort into it. We want to be sitting in a way where we can be upright, but we're not exerting a ton of effort. And just kind of being aware of the posture that we start in, just as a mental note. And kind of flag that in our spatial awareness. And as we sit, we may notice that the body slightly goes off to one side or leans forward, or we start to round out our back. And that's not a problem, it's just something that we can notice. And then see if we can return to this position we found at the beginning of the set. And having checked in with the posture, we'll shift over to see if there's any tension. And again, not forcing the body to feel any way, just sort of taking the temperature, seeing where we're at. I like to scan from the top of my head down into the chest and just see from the head, scalp, maybe around the ears, the forehead, the eyes, maybe the jaw. Often we clench the jaw and don't realize it. And just noticing is enough sometimes to get a relaxed posture or a relaxation of wherever there's tension. And if there's not, that's an opportunity for us to bring a no big deal quality and allow the tension to be there. And then finally, doing a few deep, calming breaths. Again, my moniker here is slow and low. That's the tempo we're going for. So we breathe in slow through the nose, down into the stomach, and then breathing out. You can breathe out through the mouth, or if you want to accentuate and extend the exhale, you can purse the lips like you're breathing through a straw, or breathing out through a straw. Or exhale through the nose. One more breath. So breathing in slow allows us to breathe low down into the bottom of the lungs, extending the diaphragm. And that's a subtle cue for the body. We can shift into a more chilled out mode. And for many, this is the spot they stay, right here. In a sort of calm, aware that we're sitting, not worrying about much of anything. So we can mark this as a kind of waypoint. And if you get lost with my guidance, you can come back to this. Or you can just stay here. Totally fine. So in finding rest in the body, we may find rest in the actual physical sensations of the body. It may not be the same for everyone, but a few hunches around where we might find it is around the rib cage or the belly as we move in and move out breathing. The slight pauses between actions is where we might get a bit of a restful sensation. We may get rest in hearing in the auditory range. And so there's me making noise, talking, and then I stop. And then finally, we can get a bit of rest even with our eyes closed. So we may have that sort of Gansfeld swirling action behind the eyelids. We may pause and change. So we can merely notice this rest when we find it. Or if we want, we can make a deliberate note of it and optionally label it rest. And we can back off that formality and just be aware if we want. If we're in that mode where we want to just let things be. And if we feel too spaced out, we can bring in the formality of the noting and labeling. So I'll let you be, resting your eyes. I'll check in with you in a bit. So as we let go of structure, we may feel sort of unmoored. And that's information. It's good to know. And if we feel that way, so we feel like we're loosey-goosey and not where we want to be totally with this sit, you can consider that an opportunity to bring a little more structure. And again, we can look for rest in the body, in the senses of the body. We can find rest in the sounds around us, or in hearing. And we can find rest in the visual field, usually when the eyes are closed. If you feel a little sleepy, you might open your eyes a bit and then close them. And again, we can sort of rhythmically notice where our attention is, or notice when we've found rest. Bring our attention there, sort of soaking into that rest. And then labeling it just simply rest if we want. And if that structure feels too constraining or just too much, you can dial back from that. Open up, become more of a wider aperture and just see what's going on. Sort of a, what condition is my condition in? All right, keep going. And if you do feel scattered still, just a reminder to check in with your posture. We're just looking for upright. Upright usually leads to aware. And then finally, if you haven't been able to make contact with rest, see if you can take a few deliberate breaths now. And as you do, notice a slight, if you're sitting upright, notice a slight raising of the body and lowering of the torso. So raising of the torso and a lowering of the torso. There's almost a bellows-like action as we breathe, sometimes deliberately. And sometimes around that action, you can begin to feel a bit more rest as we settle in. So, and again, you can always just drop this silly rest idea and do whatever you need to do. All right, hang in there. All right, so we're going to shift into friendliness or a cultivation practice or a metta practice. And before we begin, I want to give us a little bit of an opportunity. If your relationship with your dad is complicated, as I offer these invitations, feel free to use uncle or teacher or another figure that was close to you filled in for that. My dad was very much a spirited man. The notion of a spirited man is someone who can care for and maintain the things in his life, and one of those things he loved to maintain was his car. So we'll do some loving kindness phrases around wishing well, and then we'll expand our view of fatherly wisdom a little bit. So I promise it won't be all dad things. So the phrases I'm suggesting, again, car maintenance themed. May your windshield be clean. May your tires be properly inflated. May your windshield washer fluid be full. And again, as you do phrases, you can always shorten them or choose your own. And you may find bringing a visual representation of your father or special person may be helpful. And then again, repeating the phrases in a pace that you find helpful. May your windshield be clean. May your tires be properly inflated. May your windshield washer fluid be full. Or we can drop the words and we can say clear, inflated, full. As we say the words, cultivating a connection to that well-wish offered. May your windshield be clean. May your tires be properly inflated. May your windshield washer fluid be full. And then stripping back a bit, knowing that important fatherly wisdom in quotation marks may come from an aunt or a teacher or a nun. Visualizing that person offering these automotive well wishes, or maybe they're just sort of spiritual maintenance. May things be clear. May you be inflated. May you feel full. And we may have more of these folks that have offered us wisdom, helped us on our path, bringing them to mind as we round out our time together, just offering a rousing, heartfelt thank you. And offering that thank you, you can think of it as a sort of bouquet of flowers or a tire pressure gauge, however you're feeling at the moment. As you offer the thank you, just seeing the smile on that individual's face, rotating between individuals. Ensuring a hearty thank you to the dads that you came in contact, maybe not your dad, but other dads. Offering a thank you for their help. A sort of humanity's bow to everyone. Thank you to Lily for filling in on short notice. Thank you again to all the dads. Big rousing recognition for everyone. Thank you for sitting with me today. Thank you for everyone who watches after the fact. So we do have folks, many folks that watch after. You're very welcome. Anna and Amanda and Kent, Paul, thank you. Or you're welcome. So let's see. We normally, I'm trying to think of, and maybe Lily can help me here. So we do have the Consciousness Explorers Club has a Monday night sit. There'll be a Monday night sit tomorrow. You can go to cecmeditate.com to find out more about tomorrow's sit. If you want to find out about Consciousness Explorer stuff in advance, the best way to do that is to sign up for their newsletter, which you can do at cecmeditate.com as well. The Mind Body Pod is looking for support through patrons. So if you are through Patreon, that's right now one of the ways. If you wanted to make a contribution to the Do Nothing Project, the best way to do that. Again, not at all required. This is nothing is offered for nothing. But if folks do ask from time to time about how one might support this ongoing project, and the best way to do that would be through the for CEP's Patreon, and I think you can find that at explorers.fm, Lily, or is it explorerspod.fm? One of those. It'll be it'll be linked in the description. So yeah, so Explorers FM. Yes. So and recent so great podcasts. Recent Angelo Dululo, who'd met or I think that's how you say his name. If it's not, I apologize. But Angelo has come up a couple times prior on the Do Nothing Project. So, all right, everyone. Thanks so much for showing up, and may you have a fantastic, fantastic evening. And again, special day for all the dads out there. So, thanks for joining. Oh yes, Toronto people who live and inhabit in the 6. Jeff is looking for a house. So Lily just posted, maybe it's there or there, but Lily just posted they're looking for leads on a rental coming up soon, very, very soon. So if you know of anyone renting a place or anyone that might be able to help with that, info@jeffwarren.org. So I'm excited to just say URLs and stuff because it makes me feel like I'm on the radio a little bit. But and Omega. So if you go to jeffwarren.org in the meditation, is it, or maybe it's in the retreat section. In the retreat section, Jeff is leading a retreat at Omega in Rhinebeck. I think that's how you say it. Rhinebeck, New York. It's a fantastic, yes, there we go. Thank you, Lily. It's a fantastic retreat center. I've heard a lot about it, and I hope to experience it in person. It'll be live streamed online. Pretty cool. I did not know that. That's news to me. But yes, so for folks that are ready to go do in-person retreats, and have been asking, because folks have been asking about that. So Jeff will be leading that retreat, and that is coming up. I think it is August 5th, 6th, and 7th. August 5th, 6th, and 7th. Okay. Douglas says Omega is a very special place. I've heard a lot about it. I've not been there in person, so. Cool. I think we got most of the things. Oh, to attend. Yeah, so Lily's got all the links. This is great. Thank you, Lily. Okay, I think that's it. I don't have a way to send everybody off like happy trails or something, but yeah, thanks again for sitting with us, and I'll talk to you soon. Yes, aloha, or what's the other thing? Mahalo?